That is right, with the new update comes new maps. They have added 2 new maps into the rotation in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. The first map being Shoot House, which is the 6v6 map, and they've also added a ground war map called Krovnik. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. And they've also added Hardpoint as a game mode in the normal rotation, which I'm sure is going to please a lot of people. Hardpoint has always been one of the favourite game modes, especially if you're into competitive play, so that is also really good to see. Now, they've done some huge changes, especially to the 7.25 shotgun, which has been one of the most hated guns in Call of Duty history. I hate that gun myself. I hate being shot at it from literally the same range you use a sniper, and they've also adjusted the Claymore and loads of other things that have been hugely requested. So let's start off with the details in regards to the nerf of the Claymore. So they've listed detonating an enemy Claymore with bullets is now non-lethal when at full health. They've also reduced the trigger and damage radius, and also reduced the damage width to better match the trigger width. Now, this seems like a huge nerf. I haven't been killed by a Claymore yet, so if you guys have, let me know down below your thoughts on the Claymore nerf. I still think it's going to be fairly strong, but that's good that it's received some sort of nerf, I guess. Now, let's go straight into the 7.25 shotgun, because these were the 2 biggest things, the Claymore and the shotgun. So they've increased the ADS and hip fire spread, so this actually is a bit of a buff, but they've reduced the damage range. Now, the damage range is the biggest thing, because that's what made this gun almost into a sniper, and they've reduced the range. I'm not sure why they've increased the ADS and hip spread when this gun was already quite overpowered as it is. That seems to mind boggle me a bit, but I guess time will tell whether it will receive another nerf or if it's just going to stay as it is. Now, there have been a lot of other huge changes. Another major change is the footsteps. Footsteps were a huge problem because that's what kind of promoted camping. So from looking at the patch notes, they're saying that they've adjusted the footsteps at distance, which was a huge problem because you could hear footsteps so far out you could literally camp and directly pinpoint where an enemy was. That's why you couldn't really run around in this game, and they've also stated they've got another major update rolling out in regards to footsteps, so within the next few weeks we should have footsteps completely adjusted, but this is only the first stage. They've also done a lot of changes to the battle chatter, which is essentially your character shouting out where enemies are and calling out different directions, which was quite confusing at times because they would actually miscommunicate where enemies are, and also other enemies could hear your character shouting that. So they've done a lot of adjustments to that, but they're going to keep monitoring it and see how it goes. They've completely removed the ability for enemies to hear when they've been called out by the opposing team, and they've also adjusted the enemy callouts so they are never from your operator. And they've done a lot of changes, they've done a lot of bug fixes and also other improvements that aren't as important. They're quite boring, but if you guys want to check all of the patch notes, I'll leave a link in the description of the patch notes. You guys can feel free to check them out. But let's move on to the M4A1, because that was quite a debatable weapon as well, and that was arguably the best weapon in the game. So they've reduced the damage range, which is a huge hit for the M4A1, and they've also done a small recoil increase. Now, the M4A1 was without a doubt probably one of the best weapons, if not the best weapon in the game, just slightly above the Kilo, and hopefully this nerf will rebalance the weapon to put it in the same category as the Kilo, because I don't like seeing one weapon that everyone feels like they have to use in order to have a good game. So it's good to see that nerf for the M4A1. They've done an adjustment for all of the assault rifles. They've increased hip fire spread to reduce effectiveness up close. They've also done less damage at long range for full auto 5.56 rifles. Now, in the SMG category, they've increased move speed, increased ADS move speed as well. This was something that was really needed because when you're using an SMG, you really want to benefit from the movement speed, and it seems like they've now looked into that and adjusted it, and they've done a small reduction in sprint out time as well. So of course comes a nerf with a buff with everything in Call of Duty, but this is something that I feel like the SMGs needed in general. Crouching or going prone no longer adjusts the recoil for your weapon, and I believe this is for every weapon in Modern Warfare. They haven't specifically labelled a category, so I'm going to take it that it's every weapon in the game that doesn't adjust your recoil if you're going prone or if you're crouching. As mentioned earlier, there are so many more things that have been added into this patch, so be sure to check them out, have a good read through them. I've listed the main ones and, as I said, the most debatable subjects that they've looked into, but be sure to check them out because there are a lot of other things. You might be using a specific weapon, or you might be using a specific item in game that has been changed, so it's important to have a look at these and see if anything lighting that you use has been changed. I know they've done a lot of things that I haven't discussed, like they've adjusted the lighting in dark rooms and dark areas. I had a problem with that personally because I couldn't see some enemies that were camping in corners in dark areas, so it seems like they've adjusted to that. So anyway guys, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Of course, if you guys did enjoy today's video, drop a like to support the video further. If you're currently not subscribed, be sure you're subscribing to the channel. As always, my name's been Mirko, and I'll catch all of you guys out in another Apex Legends or Modern Warfare video. Thanks for watching.